All right, all right. Let those notifications go out. Yeah, listen up, y'all. We are going to cover this because I speak about it a lot because it's so important. Keep y'all on track. Uh, while those notifications go out, let me go ahead and do a quick sound check and all of that good stuff. And you know how we. Let me go ahead and do a quick. There we go. That was quick. Okay. And yeah, I want to make sure that we are okay. There we go. Yep. Um, Listen, got to talk about it because a lot of people are getting distracted. Remember, the devil is all about distraction. God is about confirmation. So that's right. Okay. Yeah, the devil wants to keep people distracted so that they don't do the inner work and discover their God given purpose in life. So we have a lot of things that are playing out on the world stage in this season that represent satanic thing. And we understand that you got to have that discernment because a lot of it is for show. It's part of the dog and pony show on the world stage. So whenever you see something circulating on a social media platform or in the news, you got to be careful not to get sucked into the gossip game. I'm seeing a lot of it on TikTok, and it's not surprising because a lot of people are getting tricked into, well, gossiping. And what the devil loves to do is use search engine optimization. If you don't think that these public figures that are well known do that, or their staff is searching to see what people are buzzing about, right? Yeah, they're searching to see what people are buzzing about. Because what people are buzzing about is what the devil wants to present. So if you're buzzing about a particular satanic act that took place, you got to remember that's planned. Of course, it's all planned. And then you see the headline talk about how fans are claiming that they don't even remember being there. That plays right into the narrative. And then remember what God says about bearing false witness. We're not supposed to do that. So if we weren't there, then we don't believe it. Because we don't, and we're not going to allow ourselves to get sucked into those narratives. Because they are designed. They are designed to keep people distracted. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living. So I want to try to not chop my head off there. But yeah, and I've got the Bible verse where God tells us that we're to attend to the Lord's work without distraction. We are to attend to the Lord's work without distractions. So we're going to cover that. But I want to go over this a bit more because these satanic acts that we're witnessing, you got to remember something. people will toss them off as just simply entertainment. Well, and while that is partly true, it is for entertainment. But the other side of it is, right, spell casting. But I need y'all to remember, in Numbers 23:23, we're told that those enchantments and spells don't work on God's chosen ones. No, that's why I, like many of us, or all of us, if we've ever attended a concert, we remember it. Yep, I sure did. I went to a Lenny Kravitz concert years ago. I remember it very well. And I also went to, oh gosh, when I lived in Miami, I used to go to the country music festivals. I remember them very well. So when you think about what you're learning on this world stage with this season, where public figures are dressing very satanic-like, because what is one of the hottest topics? The end times, right? That's one of the hottest topics right now. And we know that the devil uses the Bible as a movie script on the world stage. So, yeah, we are live just a little bit earlier today than we normally would be on a Thursday. But you know what? It's because we wanted to get up here and get this message to you all, because we don't want you to get distracted. We don't want you, chosen one, to get off of God's path for you. Because there's a lot of things that are coming out. Because, I mean, we do live in a satanic world, but the thing is that chosen ones, you got to remember something. We are in God's reality. We are spiritually out of the matrix. So I need you to remember that all of that for the Dog and Pony Show. Yeah, because there was a certain thing that occurred during one of the football games with these public figures, and y'all have to remember that you've got paid actors and actresses, okay? So you have to keep that in mind. So you don't really know, you don't really know who is truly a devil worshiper versus who is just putting on an act. So, well, yeah, because not all of the actors and actresses are devil worshippers. They're not. You've got some good ones. You have to keep the law of polarity in mind. And so in order to discern properly, we have to pay attention to what the world is considering as popular and trending. Because if people are searching on Google, if they are searching for anything that has to do with the devil or Satanism, then whoever is scheduled to perform is going to tap into that. So they make it to the headline. So they make it in the limelight. Because remember, in the game of narcissism, it's all about attention. It's all about popularity. It's all about what's trending, what's so-called new. And so also search, and you see that a lot of people are taping what are the end times or something to that effect in the search query. Well, the algorithm and AI are going to pick up on that then the staff responsible for planning and planning the theme, if you will, for a particular performance, well, the performer is going to give the public what it wants. Let that sink in. Okay, the performer, the public figure, is going to give the public what it wants. It's going to utilize that for popularity, and so that they make it into the headline. The performer is going to do that. They're going to find out what people are searching in the search query, right? What they're typing, what they're looking for. Yes, hello, welcome. And they are going to utilize that so that they make headline. So performers number 1, 2, and 3 are scheduled to perform a concert, what have you, don't matter. So prior to that performance, they need a theme. And so they will go and check, just like we do in our YouTube studio. I go and I check and see what y'all are typing for. Well, we're not going to gossip, okay? No gossiping, you all. Okay, so it does have to do with the entertainment industry, okay? So we're all part of it, whether we want to be or not. Although this content, our ministry is not for entertainment. We have entertaining moments. But we are for people and blogs, okay? We are keeping it real here. But yeah, the satanic acts that are being displayed, and I see it across TikTok all the time, here recently a lot. And it got a lot of believers gossiping about it. Now, it does also have believers who are just raising the awareness, and that's fine. We have to tell the difference between the two. Okay, so not necessarily the award ceremonies or anything, but we are talking, entertainment. Okay, that's the broad, right. Because there's a lot of things. Okay, the entertainment industry is massive. We know this. But it's not so large that we can't discern. Okay? Movies that are being made with satanic things in them. There's movies being made that are representing Satanism. There's concerts being performed where the performer is catering to whatever it is people are searching for. It's all about them giving the public what it wants. So it will perform as such. I've seen some clips of one performer who they say, if you wait for it, that their demon shows up in the middle of their performance. And I have to remind everybody that if that performer is getting the attention for Project Bluebeam, TV, movie, music, concert, plays, and shows. Thank you. And right. And so you have to keep in mind that videos are very easy to manipulate. So if we're not there at that concert and we don't see the shape shifting for ourselves, be careful. Okay, be careful, because that is so easy to edit. So the performer perform, and somebody takes, because it's recorded, so somebody takes that video And at a very discrete, distinct moment in the performance, a certain move, if you will, they edit to make it look like a shapeshift. I mean, you just don't know. Now, do I believe that some performers are demonically possessed? Yes, of course, but not all of them. So, yeah, we cannot make, well, we don't have the demon of assumption, but it would be considered an erroneous assumption if you categorize every performer as demonically possessed. That's not right. So a lot of it is just for distraction, so that people do not discover or even attempt to discover their God-given purpose in life. Because the devil knows once we figure out our God-given purpose and we start walking in it, oh yeah, it's game over for the devil and his narcissist. It's game over. And he knows that we're going to get our inheritance. And there's nothing he can do about it. So, well, yeah, okay, well, as far as a lot of, well, you think about the staff. Okay, even if they're not demonically possessed, they're definitely demonically complicit. Yes. Because they are complying with what the popular search term is. What are people talking about? What's the buzz? It's all about what's trending for the entertainment industry to make it to the front of the line, right? And give the public what it's searching for. You have to remember that. That's how this works with algorithms and everything. So that's what they do. So yeah, being demonically complicit. Absolutely. Even if they're not possessed. Well, yeah, that's why it seems like they're so brazen these days in front of the public, right? And, well, yeah, witchcraft is all around us, but it's alive and well in the entertainment industry. Yeah. Across social media, I mean, we see it. And don't forget that narcissistic abuse is also part of that witchcraft. But when you think in terms of marketing, why you're seeing so much of it in this season is because of the spiritual awakening. And it's because things like that make headlines. Satanic acts and narcissism make headlines. So you're going to see it for a season or so, and then you won't. Because it'll wear off for a time. So what these performers are doing is basically people pleasing. Because if they look at the SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, right? They look that up. They see what people are typing in the search query. What are people talking about, right? That's what the public buzzing about. Whatever it is they're buzzing about, that's what's gonna be presented. You have to keep that in mind when you come across this stuff. Because some of these satanic acts are just that, acts. And the performer may not actually be a devil worshiper. Now we know that a lot of them are, but you have to remember, not all of them are. Not all performers out here and public figures sold their soul. No. Not all of them did. Yeah. That's it right here. The satanic shows are giving what they think the public wants. Exactly. Some dance trends are demonic rituals. Demon tapping. Yeah. It is. So when they see something in the search engine optimization tool that they use, then they're going to plan their theme for the performance around whatever is trending, whatever is the most popular. So it's like this channel, YouTube, the algorithm will pick up on basically, comments, likes, things like that. It picks up on the word, keywords. Okay. And so if you are typing something in the search query on YouTube, like you're searching for example, I saw y'all looking for, will God punish a narcissist? And so you notice how I did a video about that. Same concept apply to, because I can answer the question. So if I come across something and y'all, I've also seen some of you all were searching for what is cognitive dissonance. Hello. That's one of my specialties. So I did a video about that. In fact, there's several videos about that on this channel. And then if you're searching for things like spiritual narcissists, we talked about that. And I also have a post on Quora in, oh gosh, I have to remember what the space is, but it's, spiritual something. Hold on, let me get it for you, because it's been a while since I posted in that space, but we're going to get back to all of that. Right now we are focusing on getting back onto ours and building more, but spiritual narcissism. That's what I thought. Yeah, because I'm a contributor to that space, and I put something in there about spiritual narcissists as well. So when I see y'all searching for that, it's just all part of it, because you have a lot of satanic things out here in the world, sure, but it does take that discernment. Yes, with that discernment, we should be able to see, or be able to tell who is demon possessed or not. Exactly. So, for example, when I woke up, after closing that Jezebel case study, I woke up in the hospital. I can tell you that the doctor that I spoke with, who I enlightened about the fact that her story had holes in it, and I explained to him my educational background, when I looked in his eyes, I did not see demonic possession, but I saw fatigue. I saw very tired eyes. So thank God that he's not demonically possessed, but I could see why he's very tired, exhausted. That's what I saw, exhaustion. So, and he basically looked at me, and as I was getting ready to leave, and prior to that thing coming to pick me up so I could go back, get my car, get cleaned up, and get out of there, he looked at me and he was like, take care of yourself. And he knew that I was not going to go to the back specialist that he just had to tell me that by protocol. For that, he had to tell me the truth about a certain thing that would heal on its own, and it did. So, that being said, we can tell. I have been in restaurants with theory testing and things like that, and I can tell you that some of the waiters and waitresses that I've had, they're not demonically possessed, but they're tired. And understandably so, because the matrix wears people out. It drains them of their energy, but I did not see demonic possession. Now, however, some of the other patrons, if you will, some of the other customers, on the other hand, I could tell who was demonic possessed. And like also around here, as I'm walking, I can tell what neighbors are. Quite a few. But not all of them are. So, yeah, it's all about that discernment. And then when I'm on my walk, people who walk by, I can tell who. In fact, there's been a few Jezebel that have walked by me. So, that's why it takes us actually being there to tell whether or not that particular satanic act, I mean, not saying that it isn't real, because they're obviously putting it out there, but does that mean that that performer is really a devil worshiper? We don't know. I know you would think, well, if they're remember, they're giving the public what they think the public wants based on what the public is searching for on Google and other browsers. Okay? They collect that data because they want to give the public what they think it wants. And so when the public is searching for this, and this, and there's a big buzz around it, that signals to them, ooh, we need to jump on this trending hot topic, and then it'll make the headline with something like fans of that performer don't even remember being there. And that falls right in line with the narrative. Ooh. And so whoever is following that and getting tricked into gossiping about that, that's a big trending topic now. Several news articles be put out. Yeah, that performer's getting headlines, right? Oh, yeah. And so across social media platforms, the more that trends, the more attention that performer gets, the more buzz it causes in the public, which is the distraction. So people who continue to follow that story and keep talking about that and gossiping, they're distracted from finding their God-given purpose on this planet. Well, okay, pray that satanic is a trend that doesn't last. Well, we live in a satanic world. Okay? We do. But it's gonna come and go. Remember, popularity, trend, they come and go. So will you see this type of satanic activity again? Yeah. But I'm telling you, it's based on whatever is trending. Whatever is in the top searches, if you will. Whatever is being there, whatever people are, whatever they're buzzing about. Again, it's whatever the people are buzzing about, that's what these performers and actors and stuff are going to do. They're going to give the public what they think it wants, except for the P Matrix. Okay? No, not all heavy metal is satanic. Wage War is a clean metal band. Okay? So you have to keep that in mind too. That not all heavy metal, not all of it, is satanic. Because if you look up the lyrics to the Wage War songs for the music for the one that, well, I had to look it up. For some of their songs, you have to look up the lyrics. And if you read the lyric, a lot of the lyrics represent overcoming trauma, and the narcissists, it describes their behaviors. So you have to have that discernment. So, to make a point about demonic possession, right, and that not all demonic possession oppressed is the fault of the possessed or oppressed any more than burglars who burglarize someone's home belonging to the homeowner or the homeowner's fault. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think a lot of, being exhausted because of the demonic attacks, not demonic possession, of course. Naturally, you would be. And so that's why we see those out here who are not demonically possessed, and we see the look of it. We could see the tiredness in their eyes. We can see the exhaustion. Exactly. I totally feel you on that. But well, okay, when you talk about who's at fault for them being demonically possessed, well, that would be the devil. That would be the devil and his demon spirits. Exactly. It's the devil's fault that they get demonically possessed. We know that. So thank you for making that point. So, and yes, okay, it's going to depend on the intention of the band members if they are satanic. And I got to remind y'all, well, yeah, because like Wage War had one out that talks about God. So, yeah, it's good. It's a good one. So the fault lies with the devil for demonic possession. That's correct. So when you see these satanic acts out here and things like that, I really want y'all to use your discernment, because in 1 Corinthians 7, verse 35, and this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction. So a lot of that, and when you talk about which is comely, meaning what's coming, right? Speak of you for your own profit. Okay, to get in your purpose, bear that fruit, receive God's blessing for our profit, not for casting a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, meaning it's coming. That trust and believe God's a promise keeper, but that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction. What does that mean? Attend upon the Lord, working out that salvation with the Heavenly Father without distraction, working on project that God has us working on without distraction. Me getting up here and delivering this message without distraction. Yeah, there was a potential spam caller trying to distract. So we don't allow it. That's the thing. It's up to us. We've got the power to not let things distract us. And so there's a lot of those satanic acts and things like that are designed to do that, to distract people and keep them gossiping, so that tricks them into not discovering their God-given purpose, because as we just read in 1 Corinthians 7:35, and this I speak for your own profit. Okay? And this I speak for your own profit, for that which is comely, that we may attend upon the Lord without distraction. It's important to remember that. I know that the previous verses is talking about a marriage and between husband and wife, but you've got to think the spiritual as well. Okay? I understand that part. So I understand those chapters talking about two people coming, a man and a woman coming together. I get that part, but it's very important to understand that we attend upon the Lord without distraction. That's for everybody, all chosen one. Those who have a God-given purpose on this planet. Right, and that's why we don't let outside noises distract us either. Okay? We hear it, but we're not paying it no mind. Well, okay, so I did, but just to give y'all an example, we keep going. Okay? And I have gone to the window and looked out because I was trying to catch what that one particular sound was. It wasn't distracting me, but I wanted to see if I could catch it because yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. When you read that chapter, you could think of the husband and wife thing as a metaphor, okay? Just let the Holy Spirit interpret that because there's a spiritual side, okay? The spiritual side. But we want to attend upon the Lord without distraction. That means doing whatever it is we need to do to fulfill God's perfect will without distraction. And all about God first and keeping God in everything that we do without distraction. So we learned that a lot of this stuff out there in the matrix on the world stage is for distraction. Disguised as, entertainment. Yes, it's for entertainment, but that's also for distraction. Because when you think about even before this current season of satanic acts occurring, growing up, how many scary movies did we watch? Well, I know I watched quite a few. If any of you all remember the series Resident Evil, I've seen all of them. That's not a coincidence either. Those could be considered documentaries. Because the narcissists are the zombies out here. So, and we know why too, the radio frequency poisoning. So you have to keep that in mind as well. But how many, let's just say, serial killer movies are there? How many, if y'all know the Lifetime channel, how many stalker movies? I mean, come on now. There's been a lot of satanic thing in these TV shows and stuff for years. And it's largely for entertainment, yeah. But also to keep the public distracted from what's really going on. And so number one, to keep people who are chosen distracted from finding their God-given purpose. And then also keeping them distracted from radio frequency poisoning. What the underlying cause to a lot of things are. In fact, almost everything. Because we are all energy, frequency, and vibration. And it's all around us, and we are a part of it. So keep people distracted from that and living in fear about their health. Yeah. They would never know that it's a make-believe world. And then let's touch on this real quick, because when you think about these satanic acts out there, it makes me wonder, how many people are paying attention. It makes me wonder how many people are actually paying attention to the trending aspect of it. And we know that there's a lot of push, if you will, because that's part of the game of narcissism, being pushy. And so a certain performer puts on an act, it makes headline. And so you see that narcissism in action, of course, because what do we know about narcissism? Yeah, it's the very evil that we're up against. But you got to remember, too, that that's in the physical. Yeah, think about that. That concert and the satanic act, that's in the physical. But think about how they're presenting it, though. Because the devil wants to trick as many people as he can into thinking that he's some red-faced beast with black horns. No. The devil looks like all the narcissists we've come across. But people won't know that if they're still walking by sight. So there's the other aspect to watch out for. Right, not to mention the scary movie. Title scary movie. Yeah, talk about cognitive dissonance in action right there. They couldn't be more original. Anywho, yeah, so you have to think about those things. Those are very evil. And then you also have to think about shows like, I used to be a big fan of the show called Charmed. Oh yeah, I learned real quick. That was a big no-no. Witchcraft and all kinds of things. Yeah, very entertaining. Yeah, think about that. And then there's there's all kinds of movies that have been put out over the years that are satanic. And you also have movies that are more godly in some ways. But you got to remember that what you're witnessing today just happens to be a different level, if you will. And I've seen, especially on TikTok, I've seen where people are saying, man, they're not even hiding it anymore. Well, y'all, they never were hiding it. Okay, let me say that again. Okay? There you go. They never were. That's the thing we come to realize here in God's reality. Everything that's being revealed has been there all along. The devil was hiding in plain sight. We just couldn't see it yet. So, right, God is opening our eyes to it now. We've got the spiritual glasses on. That's what you need, God's spiritual glasses, to be able to see these things. But then on the flip side is, again, algorithm and AI-based search engine optimization thing. So you have those of us in the awakening, God opening our eyes to a bunch of things, like animated salt molecule, and then also radio frequency poisoning. You have that. And then we also have the flip side of marketing, where these performers are just giving the public what they think the public wants based on whatever the public is buzzing about. So you have a few things going on here. But these satanic acts and movies and TV shows and stuff have been here all along, our entire life. And we were part of the matrix at one time, right? We weren't spiritually out of it yet. And so we've seen quite a bit. We've listened to quite a bit of the music from some of these performers. We've also witnessed some of these performers start out relatively clean and innocent, and then now they're putting on satanic acts. Well, if you pay attention to the transition, you have to keep in mind that they are following what people are buzzing about and will give the public what they're searching for. So don't let cognitive dissonance confuse you. I know. Cognitive dissonance is a fancy term for confusion, so no CD allowed there. But they were never hiding. Think about all the rock stars over the years, even in the 70s, right? How many Satanic album covers have you seen? Quite a few. We just didn't know at the time that that's what it was. And then does anybody remember the movie Little Nicky? Uh-huh. Yep. That was, I mean, yeah, I saw it a few times. And I thought it was pretty funny before God awakened me. Not so funny now, is it? No. Because that movie was making a mockery of God. Think about that. All the Satanic movies, and yeah, all of them were trying to mock God. But you also have to remember that whenever a public figure does that, that's also to make headlines, because it's gossiping about that particular public figure. Like I saw one where they said that she was, during her speech, she was mocking God, and then all of a sudden tripped and fell on the stage. And so people were gossiping about her falling on stage and saying, see, that's what happens when you try to mock God. How do you not know that that's all part of the act? How do you know that? How do you know that that wasn't planned to go exactly as that? Because whoever planned that performance or that speech knew that if they did that and timed it just right, knowing what part of her speech was, of course, they would, because they're conversing. And so they're like, okay, so you're going to mock God at this particular moment. And so then we're going to make it look like, I mean, it's a world stage, right? So you really have to keep that in mind, because I saw that going around on TikTok as well. And it tricked a lot of people. I looked at the comments and it was nothing but gossip. Because a lot of people don't stop and think about these things. Like, hold on a second. How do you know that that wasn't planned to go as it did? Because they knew that it would make headline for mocking God. So there you go. Same thing. Right? So that if there's been a lot of search surrounding the mocking of God, let's say people are looking that up, and the staff of that public speaker, let's say, well, let's just say public figure, because she's very well known, but and they say, okay, well, we're going to have you, because the top search engine query is about mocking God. So during her speech, as the staff is preparing it, and they knew exactly when she was going to do the mocking of God, and so let her know that, okay, and then you're going to accidentally trip and fall on the stage at that moment. How do you know that wasn't planned? You don't. Because we live on a world stage that loves to entertain toddlers in adult body. So, well, and toddlers, but I want y'all to let that sink in. You really have to think outside the box about this stuff, so you don't get tricked into gossiping. Gossiping is a sin. This is why we don't name names. This is why I'm not going to tell you who that person was. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you the performer's name because there's many of them who are putting on satanic acts in this season. But it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's always been there. I'm seeing clips even from the 80s where satanic acts were being carried out. I mean, okay. That's what I'm saying. It's been there all along. It's just, like Chris pointed out, it's just that God's opening our eyes to it. Because he awakened us to all the narcissism that surrounds us. Yeah, adult toddler and actual toddlers being on the same level. Oh. Yes. Okay. Yes, we do know that there are pop stars, rock stars, and rappers that are in a cult. Yes, we're aware of that as well. Thank you. Yes, we are aware of it. That a lot of these public figures, yes, they are in a cult. There's well, yeah, there's clubs out here. Evil clubs. We do know that. Yes, we do know that. There's evil clubs out here. Absolutely. We don't dismiss that. But we also know there's the flip side as well. That there's not all of them. Okay, not all of our public figures sold their soul. But I know who you're talking about. Okay, 'cause we've seen them. Yeah, they're putting together photo collages of many of them engaging in hand gestures. I get what you're talking about. But I also consider how many may have gotten paid to pose like that. You know, I mean, I think about things like that outside the box too, because the way that the evildoers think, the narcissists, the way they think, everything's black and white. Well, we don't. Chosen ones don't think like that. We're like, hold on a second. We have to consider some other alternatives here because we're dealing with the world stage and we're dealing with an entertainment industry and we're dealing with the people-pleasing aspect of the game of narcissism. So you have to kind of like, okay, so you don't get tricked into bearing false witness. And so I've seen that. And so a lot of those pop stars or rock stars, actors and actresses that are in those photos doing those things. Okay, I could see who, but I also consider, well, how many of them got paid just to pose like that, and they're not really in the club? I mean, remember, because the devil is all about appearances, so he needs to make himself appear larger than he really is. He's just a little bitty thing, okay? Yeah, and he wants it to appear. So it would make sense that at some point, you get some of those public figures, if they've got the love of money, I mean, there are people like that, well, I mean, really, pay them enough and just ask them to strike a pose like this, if they don't mind. And they may not have a clue that that photo is going to be used in a collage 10 years from now, putting them in a club that they don't know anything about themselves. I mean, I think like that, outside the box. But yeah, there you go. It's show business. That's right. So bands from the 70s that were satanic just to get notorious and to get audience views to sell more tickets. Sure. Same concept. Giving the public what they think the public wants. Absolutely. And yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I've seen that one. I've seen the particular one. We know he is definitely in the club wearing the symbol of ball. We know that. Yes. Thank you. I've seen that one too. And so pop stars pretending to be part of it. Yeah. Yes, Chris. And so there are, I know exactly who you're talking about because I've seen it. And they're right, and they're not hiding it. So this is why we have to have that discernment. Okay, we have to have that discernment so that exactly, because again, not all public figures sold their soul, but the satanic acts. There's so many things to analyze and to think about when it comes to our faith, what we're witnessing. Are we bearing false witness? Were we there? Do we really even want to get ourselves wrapped up in that, because it leads to gossiping? And we really have to be careful when it comes to that, because again, we're to be doing what God has called us to do and not allow that to distract us from our God-given purpose. So yeah, exactly. And remember, God tells us not to have any other gods before him. Okay. And so as we talked about in the comments with another fellow warrior about 1 King chapter 22, there were a lot of delusion playing out in that chapter. And that is where, right, at the final, towards the end there, I forget that name right on hand, it's in the comment, but where he went, instead of worshiping the Lord and God, he went to worship Baal. Okay, so 1 King chapter 22. So, let me give y'all the name. I don't want to leave you hanging there, because I've got that chapter marked. I've got that book marked for the Jezebel story in there. But here we go. Towards the end, he talks about, if I can pronounce it correctly, it's Ahaziah. It looks like it would be Isaiah, the son of Ahab, who began to reign over Israel. And so he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and walking in the way of his father, for he served Baal and worshipped him and provoked to anger the Lord God of Israel, according to all that his father had done. Right there in the very last verse, 53. So there you go. All right, that's what that's about. And a leaked video of of some of the most, well, I wouldn't necessarily consider them powerful. They think they are. Remember that. God's power is always greater. But I know what you talk about. Let's just say very prominent figures attending the Bohemian grave. I saw that. Yep, I saw it on TikTok as well. Yeah. Yep. It's not surprising, because it's not only is it a make-believe world, but it is a satanic world. And, we're told that we live in a fallen world for a reason. But I wanted to get on here and have this discussion to keep you all straight, because we're in an era. Well, we've always been in this. When it comes to advertising and marketing and things like that, you have to keep that in mind as well. And you have to also remember that it is a world stage, and we do have a lot of those prominent figures who are actors wearing silicone masks, and the original prominent figure has been dead for some time, but a lot of people don't realize that. Right, there was sacrificing and doing rituals, of course. So we know that goes on. We know that goes on. And It's just a matter of time before more people become aware of it. But we also have to keep in mind the marketing aspect as well for popularity, because they want to get in the headlines, right? They want to make the headline. They want to sell more tickets. So many things that go into this, but I don't want y'all to get tricked into gossiping. And so what is gossiping? Naming a bunch of names. And that's why we're not doing that. We don't have to. We're paying attention and we catch it on social media, but we don't get in the comment section and start gossiping. If I comment on something like that, I basically say, welcome to the game of narcissism on the world stage. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to gossip about the video. I'm not going to gossip Satanic act. I'm just going to say welcome to the game of narcissism on the world stage, because that is the crust of it all right there. So many things to factor in, but be careful, okay, fellow warriors, and do not allow yourself to get, do not allow yourself to get tricked into gossiping. And, well, we know about that ban, but let's not gossip, okay? We don't need to name names. All right, we do not need to name names. I know that seems like not naming a name, but when you name the name of the band, then we know who you're talking about. Okay? So we want to be mindful of that as well. All right, everybody. So that wraps up this message. If y'all have some additional insight to help each other, we're iron sharpening iron here at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, because we know that there's satanic things going on. We're aware of that, part of that heightened awareness. But we also know that there's the flip side, and then there's also other things to take into consideration so that we don't get caught up in that and get distracted from what God called us to do. All right, everyone. So that wraps this one up. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Hiding loads of stuff behind the scene. Not anymore. Not anymore. We're getting more aware every day. Okay. And just again, discernment. Okay. Stay focused. Stay focused on what God called you to do. Don't be like blind to it. You take note of it, but then we gotta, okay, you know what? We know that's also meant to be a distraction. That's also trying to trick us into gossiping. We see it. We take note of it. Okay. And then I do some additional analyzing. Okay, well, how do I know that that wasn't planned to go as such? How do we know that? Okay, well, we don't, because it's the world stage. And then for other things, we're like, okay, yeah, that's definitely, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. All about that discernment. All right, everybody. So to learn more about this ministry and, myself, you can always visit the website and take the time to read the homepage. You'll learn a lot right there. And welcome to this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. Yes, CHA. And the website link is in the video description below for quicker access, along with some other links that you can check out what we have to offer for you, all about getting that heightened awareness, that trauma healing and spiritual growth while combating radio frequency for healthier living. Yeah, make it to the other side of that rainbow to obtain and maintain emotional regulation so that none of this stuff will trigger us ever again. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. And also thank you for your participation in the live chat and then also in the comments on the replay. Until next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.